Hello everybody, and I hope you're all well. It's a lovely, crisp but cold morning with a touch of frost, and I'm hoping to do some vermin control, namely hooded crows, as the farmer that owns this ground has only just started to lamb, and he has a zero tolerance for hooded crows and foxes. So I've set a dead rabbit out at about 70 yards to try and bait the birds down to the ground before getting myself back into the hide. I was intending to bring my 22 rimfire this morning, but brought the 17 Hornet instead, as the farmer has seen a fox hanging about, and you never know, you might just catch a glimpse of him while you're sitting in the hide. The rifle itself is a CZ 527 Varmint, bedded into a form laminate stock. The scope is an old Miopta 4-16x44 tactical, which I have a Tacticam 5.0 and FTS unit mounted to. The suppressor is a 17 caliber Wildcat Panther, and I'm using a home loaded ammunition with a 20 grain VMAX travelling at about 3,600 feet per second. Yes, I know 70 yards isn't very far for a 17 Hornet, but there always was a possibility of a fox this morning, and the Hornet is far better fox medicine than the rimfire. But the first thing to take notice of the dead rabbit was actually this magpie, which I left alone to feed while I kept scanning from side to side looking for the elusive fox that really never did appear. I have tried a couple of nights with the night vision, but as of yet haven't even caught eye shine, never mind seen a whole fox. The magpies can be quite interesting to watch. They're not a very big bird, so I suspect they don't have much of a crop, but they will hammer away at the rabbit, pulling bits and pieces of meat off, then hop around the field and hide it in the long grass here and there, much like squirrels hiding nuts in the leaf litter for the winter. But how they remember where all the bits and pieces are, I'll never know. There's a small rookery nearby, and once the frost thawed off a bit, the rooks started to come down into the field, searching for earthworms and leather jackets. Now, they don't do the sheep any harm that I've ever seen, so I usually leave them alone. The magpie returned, quickly followed by a couple of jackdaws, which didn't go down too well with his mate, who had a go at them. Now, I don't think the jackdaws are really interested in eating the rabbit, as I've never seen them feeding on a dead carcass before. Instead, they might be more interested in getting a little rabbit fur to help lag their nest. But Mrs. Magpie wasn't having any of it, and quickly moved them off again. Why do you think it was a Mrs. Magpie, I hear you ask? Well, once you've been married a while, you can sort of tell these things. The hide must be doing a good job, as this jackdaw dropped in about 15 yards away. And then, just like that, out of nowhere, a hooded crow comes drifting down across the field to the dead rabbit. I knew there was one in the area, but it wouldn't show itself. It was probably sitting in the top of one of those tall trees, watching everything and waiting just to make sure there was no danger. So, if I had shot one of those magpies, it wouldn't have come anywhere near me. Looks like the 17 Hornet is good crow medicine as well. The other Rooks and Jackdaws weren't too happy about it though. Then the farmer turned up on his morning run to check out to see if anything else has lambed. And wouldn't you know it, the two magpies returned, just as the sheep were grazing in front of me. And they weren't terribly happy about the dead crow laying over the top of their rabbit. But there wasn't much I could do about it. Sure, I could maybe thread a shot between a couple of sheep there, but it isn't worth it. So I let them go. And of course, once the sheep had moved on, so had the magpies. Then after a while I spotted this old ewe, trying to reach a very persistent itch by the looks of it. It'd make you itchy yourself after a while. But it looks as if she was really enjoying it. I spotted a bird to my far left, but once I zoomed into it I realised it was just a wood pigeon, feeding on fresh shoots or clover in the field. After a while I noticed that there was a piece of dry grass sitting in front of the camera lens, but wouldn't you know it, once I stuck my hand out of the hide to try and remove it, a hooded crow decided to turn up. I managed to get the lens sort of cleared again, only to find that the crow had actually landed into a nearby tree and not onto the ground, so it wasn't really a safe shot. But it didn't hang around for long and flew off out over the horizon. So I decided a change of tactics was due, and took the dead crow I'd brought with me and set it up as a decoy over the top of the bird I just shot, to make it look as if they're fighting, and hopefully aggravate the crows into coming down to the ground and giving me an opportunity. Once back into the hide, I took the opportunity to finally get that blasted piece of grass out from in front of the lens. Camouflage is essential, but when it gets in the way, it can be annoying. That was a bit of a wait, but it looks like the change to my decoy pattern is actually starting to work. But my camera skills really failed me, as I was struggling to find the birds on the view screen, and I haven't got time to mess about with the camera. So all I can say is, thank goodness for the Tacticam. Even after the shot, I was still struggling to find the bird with the camera. No, it's to your left. No, zoom out, left a bit, left it, that's you. Zoom in there. You have her now, hey. I was all chuffed with myself and was searching for my phone to text the farmer I'd got the pair of birds, Okay, I admit it, I was going to play Candy Crush again, when I looked up and realised there was a third bird about to land. Thankfully, I got the bird on camera this time, and it looked as if he looked as if he, what on earth is he doing? I would say it was probably a rival bird from a rival territory, taking advantage of the situation and inserting its dominance over the other bird. Well, it's certainly trying to insert something. That'll put the nonsense out of you. Ah, ain't that lovely? These lambs aren't very old, as they're sticking very close to their mother. Hopefully in a few weeks' time, they'll be racing round the field like Egypts. Mother Ewe wasn't long out of the way when another crow showed up. Unfortunately, again my camera skills failed me and I zoomed in on the wrong crow. But again, the Tacticam came to the rescue. And that was number 4 in the bag. Thankfully, when I looked at the camera after the shot and found that I was actually filming the decoy bird, I found the funny side of it. Yes, that's the one you were supposed to be filming, you balloon you. Warmer day now. Well, let's see how we've done. We've dead rabbit as a bait. Magpies had a good go at it. And then I shot that hooded crow. Waited ages for it. There was magpies, jackdaws, rooks, all in the same field, and I waited ages to get that boy and finally got him. And there's a bit of him there too. And over there, these 17 Hornets, quite potent on them. And I had a decoy bird with me. I didn't bother setting it up to later on. Set up in a little wire cradle. Set it over the top of that and they look as if they're fighting to try and get a reaction from the other crows, and it seemed to have worked. I've got a few over there. A lot of onlooking sheep wondering what on earth I'm doing. And if I've got anything to feed them, which I haven't. Now, I was on this ground start of the week a few days ago, and believe it or not, there was almost 3 inches of snow that morning, which all disappeared by about 5 o'clock. That's Northern Ireland for you. And I sat in the cold for 3-4 hours and all I got was a magpie. The hooded crows didn't come anywhere near me, not even a flyover. So I was determined to come back and see if I could do a better job this morning. That and the farmer was winding me up about it. and I don't think they'll be able to wind me up too much this morning because I've got 4 in the bag by the looks of it. That one I think was the mate of the first one I shot. It finally came down. Then the one that was trying to put it in the family way, I'd say that was a rival bird from a neighbouring ground. And I'd say that last one is probably its mate that turned up at the end. Wonder what it was up to. But that one's not so badly damaged. Not as bad as the first one. Oh, that one's a bit messy. That one's not too bad. It's done the business. A wee bit hard seeing the viewing screen on this camera this morning with this low sunlight. But I've 4 in the bag. I'm a happy man, and the farmer will be happy too. He's just starting lambing here. I think there's only one ewe walking about with lambs, but that's a good start. Pack up and go home and see about a second breakfast. I like my second breakfast. And of course, while I was clearing the field up after myself, another crow flew out overhead quite noisily. If I'd have stayed another half an hour, I might have put another one in the bag, but who knows? And as for Mother Ewe, well, she found a nice sheltered spot in the sunlight for the kids to relax in. Well, with 4 crows in the bag, I think it turned out quite a productive morning. A lot better than the last time I was here. And the farmer seemed quite happy about it too. But anyway folks, look after yourselves and take care, hey.